Hello, ladies and gentlemen from YouTube. Today we are going to talk about how to swap two elements in an array in place. So what's that mean? So let's say we have an array, all right, of numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, if we console log this one with the array, you will get 1, 2, 3, 4 as a printout. Okay, now let's say I want to have the first element, which is 1, at the end, and I want the last element 4 in the beginning. So I want something like 4, 2, 3, 1. Okay, that's what I want. So how do we do that? We're just swapping the first element with the fourth element. Okay, and we don't want to do it in place. Now, this is syntax for it. So what you're going to do is have a square bracket, and then you say array 0, comma, array dot length minus 1. So array dot length minus 1 is pointing at the last index of the array. All right, and then we set this array equal to array length minus 1 array array 0. So what do you see in line 4 is that we're setting array 0 to array last, and then we're setting the array last to array 0. So this is what triggers the swap function. And if we console out the array now, this is in place. So if we console out, we can see that 1 and 4 has been swapped from the original. All right. Okay, so when do we ever use this swapping operation with the array in place? One of the scenario or one of the use case I can think about is to reverse an array in place without using the built-in reverse function. Right? So let's say we have an array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and we want to reverse it, and then it should turn out to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, the reverse order of it. What we can do is to write a function called reversed, and then we can have an array as an input, and then from here we're gonna loop through the array each element. So because previously we took a look at how we swap the first element with the last element, right? You can see on our first loop, let's say I is equal to 0, and then in the first operation of this loop we swap, right? So the first element is equal to the last element, right? And the last element is equal to the first element. So this is a swap between 1 and 6, right? So why do we have here? So why are we having array.length minus 1 minus I? Okay, so array.length minus 1 is the last index of the array, and minus I is dynamic in the loop. For the first iteration, I is equal to 0, right? So that's why we have the array 0, which is the first element. All right, array length minus 1, last element, minus 0, which doesn't change. But in the next loop, when I is equal to 1, right? When I is equal to 1, array of 1 is equal to 2. But look at what it's swapping with. Array.length minus 1, right? This is the last element, which is 6, and minus I. Now I is 1, so in a sense, you're minus 2, okay? If the length is 6, you minus 2, which turns to 4, which points at index 4 of array is 5. So you swapping between 2 and 5. And it goes on until we reach the midpoint, okay? So the loop doesn't stop at the array.length, usually the way we do it, but we stop at the array.length divided by 2, and then we map forward just in case we have an odd number. And this is the midpoint, the mid index of the array. So we are only looping from 1 to 3, and then on each iteration we do the swapping with the dynamic index. So 1 swap with 6, 2 swap with 5, and 3 swap with 4. Okay, and then we will return the array at the end. We will return the array because the array is changing dynamically in place. All right, so let's see that in action. So let's say on line 14 we'll say console log. Let me clear this right here. Console log reverse, and then our input is array, right? This array right here, variable right here. And see what it turns out. It should print out 654321. Okay, we run this file. It is 1654321 in reverse order from the original. Let's try another test. Let's grab array 3 right here. Okay, let's say we have an array. It has an odd length. So 15 is odd, right? 15 have the length is not even, is odd. So let's see if it works. Console log dot reverse array 3. Okay. Comment this out, clear this, and run the file again. It should print out 15 to 1, right? 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. Okay, so it works. So the swapping is very useful in our case if you want to swap some elements in an array in place. And this kind of question, like this kind of swapping operation, will come up quite often in actually interview settings. Like you want to reverse an array without using the built-in reverse function, or you want to transpose a 2D matrix. And transposing a 2D matrix deserves another video for that. So keep an eye out for that. I'll include the link in the description or in this video later on, because I mean that's involving with two nested arrays. Okay. So yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoy the swapping operation. See you next time.